Hey, what's up, everybody? We're out here on the balcony. You can see a little bit of I'm right next to the pool there. Little pool, little clubhouse area. Can't really. It's not really picking up much this way. I can see it just fine, but camera cannot. Got a tree there. Got some shrubs. Oh, okay. There's the railing. Yeah, I gotta get some lights to hang up for out here. I mean, I have lights inside, but they're not waterproof, and it's Florida, so it rains frequently. So, it rains sideways and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure I get waterproof lights. So I'll have to look into that. Anyway, welcome to the season premiere of Cold Night Chats. Yeah. Feels so good to say that. And obviously, it's not cold. I don't think it ever usually is in the inaugural episode of these things. It's 68 degrees. So, mosquitoes are still out and, whatever, all that stuff. But, man, you know what? I'll take it. Because in the summertime, the overnight low is about 80 degrees here. So 68 feels nice. And fall is in the air. And I love that feeling in the air. There's just something about it, and I've described it many times now. I just can't emphasize it enough how poetic it is. The crisp autumn air, And I'm excited now. I mean, winter is my favorite season. So everywhere I've been, winter has been my favorite season. And so I'm excited. This is only the beginning. This is just the little free sample of cool air. I mean, 68 degrees, come on. Got a long way to go. Just wait till it's 58, 48, 38, 28 if we're lucky. Yeah. Good times. So naturally, the change in the air correlates with the change in my mood. I have sort of a reverse case of seasonal effectiveness disorder. Instead of being depressed during the winter and happy during the summer, I'm happy during the winter and depressed during the summer. Man, I can't stand the heat. Just excessive sweating, just walking outside, and it's like walking into a sauna. And don't even bother to dress nice and look nice and act professional, because as soon as you go outside, you're just going to be drenched in sweat, just panting and just complete mess. So and get in the car and it's just the steering wheel's burning up, the seat's burning up, and just it takes how when that feeling when you're waiting for the AC to kick in, you just spam the up button and just put it on all the way, and it still takes 2 minutes until it takes full effect, and that feels like an eternity, and just just everything, man. Just not a big summer guy, but fall is here, so yay, we made it. Especially doing what I do. Both of my jobs are outdoors, so good. So as usual, I have no agenda, no talking points. I'm just rambling on. So it is currently 11:23 p.m. on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. And Yeah. I'm not sure when the last one of these I officially uploaded was, because I recorded a few, life update videos over August and September. Just not sure if I ever uploaded any of them. But I moved here September 1st. Got my own apartment. I'm pretty sure I remember talking about that. Well, I did. I just don't remember if I uploaded it. I don't know. But yeah, I moved out of Pine Hills. I now live by Orlando International Airport in the southeastern section of the city. And I live in a one-bedroom apartment that I'm renting for $1,800 a month, which is almost triple what I was paying for rent. And yeah, I'm living it up. I got a whole unit to myself. I was just renting a room, and now I got a whole unit. So bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, living room, laundry room, balcony, the works. And I don't have unlimited money yet, so I haven't gone all out decorating it the way that I want to. But I put a little pizzazz into it. I like to think. But yeah, so I've been sprucing the place up, and I just enjoy life, man. I just enjoy coming home to this place, rather than Pine Hills. I just have so much freedom and independence. I'm the king of the castle now. I make the house rules. I still gotta abide by the rules of the apartment complex, and of course the city and the county and all that stuff. But still, freedom. If I wanna blast music while I'm cooking or cleaning or taking a shower or whatever, I can. If I wanna play guitar, sing my heart out, there's a 24-hour gym as well here, so I go there late at night when I do the majority of my workouts, like 1, 2, 3 a.m. I'm the only one in there, and the place is completely soundproof. I even did a test too. I have a Bluetooth speaker that goes to like glass shattering volume. Like, it is insane volume. And so I turned that up all the way, and then I closed the door and stepped outside, and I couldn't hear a thing. So it's completely soundproof. So I go in there at 2 in the morning, and I blast my music, and I just like I turn the gym into a mosh pit, and the equipment are the other moshers. But so, I have a lot of fun in there, and I've also been using that. You may notice in my recent singing videos, I've been using that as my studio as well too. So that's where I'll go, to write music and to perform, because I can sing at the top of my lungs there at 2 in the morning and not have to worry about noise complaints. So I found kind of a loophole there. The gym is pretty much, dormant from like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So during graveyard shift, it's all mine. Man, if they review those security cameras, they must they better bust out the popcorn for that. But yeah, and then the pool here too is, quote unquote closes at 10, but it's only a 4-foot fence, so I hop that. I go for late night swims. And a pool right here, so it's good. It's a mostly Hispanic community. I mean, this whole area of Orlando in general, but the apartment complex is like 80% Hispanic. So, most of my neighbors, if I see them in passing, I'll just greet them with an "Hola, ¿cómo está? Ah, bien, igual." "Buenos días." Stuff like that. So it's relatively surface level there. I know a few of them, the ones that speak English, but the ones that don't, because, it's not really much I could do there. But, I haven't made any enemies here, at least, that I've been made aware of. So, that's good. No noise complaints yet, no, code violations or anything. I got rid of the cockroaches, finally. So I just and getting my own place also encouraged me to be more just on top of things, so I wash dishes as soon as I use them now. I don't just let them build up until I run out and then have to, wash everything in the sink, because it takes 20 seconds to wash a dish, come on. And so, I do that. Just a lot of habits I've been getting into. I have a pitcher of filtered water that I keep in the fridge. That's another thing too. I have a whole fridge to myself. I don't have to share it with roommates or anything, so I can organize it the way I want and keep what I want in there. And I got an ice maker in the freezer and all that. I've been trying to dip my foot into cooking a little bit, so every once in a while I'll fire up the stove or put something in the oven, or whatever. So, yeah. I got my own washer and dryer. That was a big one, because there was only one washer and dryer for the whole house in Pine Hills, and it was 14 bedrooms, so that's just crazy. There's always somebody doing laundry. It's a line for laundry, and now I can just do it whenever I want. Yeah. So yeah, it's just keep on top of things just to keep things neat and organized. I sweep now and mop and all that. I never used to do any of that. And, I keep my place looking nice. I take pride in where I live and how I live. So, it's good routines. Getting good too. And it's not like it's just a phase, because I've lived here 5 weeks now. So, that's, it's a 15-month lease that I have. So, I'll be here until the end of next year. I may actually upgrade to a 2-bedroom if I get a lot more money. It's not even that much more. It's only $300 extra a month. So the next raise I get, pretty much, I'll be able to do that if I want to. I mean, I don't really like the idea of moving, but at least, it'll be in the same complex, so it's not like I'm moving across town or anything. I'm not going to need to get a U-Haul truck or anything. I can just carry everything. But yeah. So that's that. Work has been going good, and I'm excited because right now I'm on pace for the end of this month. I will graduate to elite pay. I'll become an elite rep, and that means $250 for every single demo. So I'm gonna be making $8,000 to $10,000 a month. That's way more money than I'm used to. I come from humble beginnings, making $9 an hour. So if let's reverse engineer that. If I'm making $8,000 a month, if I'm making $2,000 a week, 40-hour weeks, 2,000 divided by 40, that's 200 divided. That's $50 an hour. That's over 5 times what I was making a year ago. It's crazy. So I'm definitely proud of myself for, grinding to the top. So we're almost there. 4 more weeks. As long as I don't let up, if I keep up the pace, I just need 16 more demos. And I don't even care at this point if you know what a warm transfer and a demo and all that is. I'm just going to assume you did, because I know I explained it on here. So go back and watch the other life update videos from over the summer. But it's smooth sailing now, because obviously summer's the hardest season for door knocking in Florida, just because it's just miserable to be outside. But now, we'll just coast through the fall. October's the first month where it's like actually, not unpleasant to be outside. So yeah, that's going well. Pedicabbing, probably stop that once I get to elite pay. Or possibly just work like big events only. Like if there's something at like Camping World Stadium and I can make $1,000 in a night, yeah, it's probably still worth my time, But just working an average Friday or Saturday night downtown, trying to get 100 or two and just dealing with that whole scene. Like if I'm making $2,000 a week, I don't need that extra 100 or 200. It's just not worth it, But 1,000, I'll do 1,000. I'll do 500 even if there's like a sold out concert at the Amway Center or something like that. I'll work that. So maybe I'll transition for November into like a event only kind of thing. So ideally October will be the last month that I just work, weekends downtown pedicabbing. But for now, I'm still doing that. Yeah, that's that. There was a hurricane, and I'm not going to say that it was a joke because it wasn't. In fact, there was a lot of flooding around this area, and the power went out here for about 16 hours, and I couldn't charge my phone. I couldn't turn on the TV. I couldn't, use the fridge or the sink or the toilet or the shower or the microwave or anything, So I couldn't go anywhere because there was a hurricane going on. So yeah, that wasn't really good for me, for my mental state. And then the other thing is my car actually got flooded. The computer, water got in the computer for the car, and it just stopped working, so I had to take Uber and Lyft rides and stuff to work for a bunch of days. And then eventually I got my mechanic up here. He came all the way up from Port St. Lucie to look at it, and he was able to get it running again, but it has a lot of issues because the computer component that runs the engine and the motor and all that is fine, but the body computer is still waterlogged, and that is what controls the lights, the windows, the locks, the seat settings, all that stuff. So that's all been on the fritz. So what I've been needing to do is every time I turn the car off, I have to disconnect the battery as well, because if I leave the battery on, even if the car's off, it just like the lights are going to start going crazy, and it's going to keep like locking and unlocking randomly, and the trunk's going to be opening and closing and all that stuff, and it'll just burn out the battery. So I have to do that. But I mean, it runs fine, it was making some weird noises, but that kind of tapered down. So what I've had to do is there's still water pooling in the back seats, like a lot of it, like 2 inches of water, and there's still water swishing around. And so there's a place in my apartment complex that has a vacuum cleaner, a free one to use. So I vacuum out the water a couple of times a day, and then I also just leave the doors open all day to try to let the water evaporate and let it out, let all the moisture out. Because otherwise it just stays in the car and it just fogs up the insides of the windows and the windshield and it just never actually leaves. So that's the only way. I would just roll down the windows, but the windows still don't work. So I just have to leave the doors open. And, I don't really have any valuables in my car anymore, so it's not really anything for people to steal. If they want, like, my empty water bottles or something, or whatever. But there's not really anything valuable in there. So slowly but surely, we're making a little bit of progress each day. But the smell's pretty bad too. It just smells like rotten fish, and it's getting moldy and stuff. So it's not over. We still got a ways to go, but at least it runs now. So that's the first step, is that I have my, freedom of transportation back at least. So that's good. That was another thing that was going on. Yeah. Yeah. I'm probably gonna be getting into the dating scene relatively soon. I've had kind of a tentative plan to do that for a while now, as I've expressed on here. But the main thing that's been holding me back is money. And just, especially since I tripled my cost of living by moving here. September was my first month here, so I wanted to, use that as a trial run to make sure that, I'm, financially stable myself before I drag someone else into all of that. And it seems like I am. And then, of course, if I get that promotion, the end of October, then it's just, then I don't have to worry. So, the part of me just wants to wait till November till I secure that promotion and then know that I definitely don't have to worry about it. But a part of me is also like, yeah, but you're on pace to do that, so you're going to be fine. Just go ahead and do it now. But I have a tendency, a history in my life of counting my eggs before they hatch, as they say, and just being like, I set myself up, I'm gonna be great, and then things don't go according to plan, But I don't like planning for failure, for sure. I think that it's good, to attract positivity, to plan for the best outcome. That's also been another thing of mine too, is I always, and I was just talking to someone about this a couple days ago actually, I always envision the best case scenario in my mind, and it's not even like a conscious choice, it's just like what happens. I envision, like, when I picture a new situation, I just imagine like how great it would be and how everything's going to go smoothly and all that, and it takes a while for that naivety to fade and for my brain to tell me, yeah, but when has it ever been like that? When has it ever been that easy? And then obstacles come up that I didn't even think about, and all kind of challenges and things like that. And then I get all flustered because it's not the way I envisioned it and all that, and it's, So at the same time, I'm kind of conflicted because I don't want to plan for failure because I think that's like a negative mindset. But I also don't want to just plan for the best case scenario, because then that's setting myself up for disappointment, because then if the best scenario does happen, then I'm just like, it's just okay, and then if anything less than that happens, then it's a disappointment. So I really don't know where I stand on all that because obviously the message I would like to tell people is just, oh yeah, plan for greatness and all that stuff, but also like got to be realistic though, like you can't just be an idiot and say like, yeah, things will get better, I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna accomplish all my goals. And it's like, all right, well, how though? How are you gonna do that? What did you do today that brought you one step closer to that? What is your plan? And that's another thing too with me learning guitar, for example. I severely underestimated that process. So I was just, yeah, I'll learn a couple chords and whatever, and then I'll go make an album, and I'll just say, yeah, good luck with that. So that's proved much difficult. Well, it's proved much difficult. Yeah, you know what? Let's just leave that sentence the way it is. But yeah, so suffice to say, I've had other priorities in my life the past few months and haven't really made much progress with guitar. I'm all about transparency these days, and honestly, can't really say that I have been all my life. I will be honest, there have been times on this channel and on this series and stuff in the past where I try to paint a picture like my life is different than it actually is, because that's what I want the audience to think, or something like that. And looking back on it now, I don't really have a justification for that. I don't even remember what my mindset was at the time, my reasoning for why I wanted to do that. But that's just how it was. But now I really just don't care anymore. And you may notice a lot of those barriers that I sort of have had up for the entire history of my channel and even my online presence are being broken now, because at the end of the day, those limits, they're only holding me back. They're only like for example, one of the things on my channel since day one has been no cursing, right? I don't curse on my channel. Now, sometimes in, episodes videos featuring other people, like Tales from the Fifth Dimension or the podcast or whatever, they can curse and say whatever they want and all that's fine, as long as I don't. And that's been, if you notice, you can go back and look at the videos, that's the pattern there. Some of you already noticed that, some of you may not have, but that's been a long-standing thing. And it's not that I don't curse, because I do. And honestly, I didn't really when I first started the channel, but by probably like a year after, I kind of developed the mouth of a sailor, So, I do use profanity in real life. So, I will probably have less reason to in these things, because it's just me talking. But moving forward, if there's like a role play video or like a comedy thing or a parody, maybe even the list videos, stuff like that, I may get a little more colorful with the language, just because I have nothing to hide at this point. It's like, yeah, this is me. If you don't approve of a word that I say or whatever, if that's enough to make you unsubscribe from the channel or dislike the video or whatever, like, then maybe I don't even want you as a fan then, because you're not really a fan if you're that easily dissuaded. And that specific thing just goes back to the way I was raised and my household. Cursing was frowned upon. It was like there was a big stigma around that. And, that was just sort of imprinted on me from a young age. So when I went out into the world at 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, everyone around me was, using profanity so casually, and I wouldn't. Even though my family wasn't around and I probably could get away with it, it wasn't in my vocabulary. It felt unnatural and it felt like wrong. I don't really know like what happened. Like, it's not like I just like flipped a switch and then suddenly became like totally comfortable with it or something. But somewhere around the age of like probably around the age of like 17 is when I probably first started colorizing my vocabulary. So I mean, even when I went into college, I was 14 when I started college, and I was clean as a whistle, you know. But I was also like super weird because I was introverted and I was homeschooled all my life, and I was just like socially awkward. So yeah, I was pretty much just a loner in college, and then at the very end, I started like getting a little bit more rapport and social status and stuff like that. But then I moved to Orlando, so that was the end of that. And I would like to maybe go back to college for my bachelor's degree. It wouldn't be in music though. It would probably be in like psychology or something like that. But yeah, possibly. I was thinking of going back, this August, but just with my current schedule with work, it's just not, it's not realistic. But once I get to the point that I'm making my own schedule, which is 2 more levels up, then yeah, there'll be nothing stopping me because I can work my own hours. So that's still the tentative plan. But yeah, so about cursing and stuff, like, yeah, moving forward, I have lifted that ban on profanity, where there's been so many instances in the history of my channel where I've gone out of my way to avoid cursing, and oftentimes jeopardized oftentimes at great expense of either expressiveness or like thematic content or effectiveness at whatever it was I was trying to do. It just sort of made it cringier, that it was like you can clearly tell like it wasn't G-rated content that I was trying. I'm not exactly doing like a Toys R Us unboxing video or anything. It's like it's obviously geared towards a mature audience, so it was just kind of confusing, like why, you know what I mean? So I just think that was kind of silly and unnecessary. And I know, like, obviously my parents would rather me not, but at this point, I mean, I'm an adult and there's really no point in censoring myself just because it's the internet, So I wouldn't say anything in a video or anything that I wouldn't say in real life. I mean, there are words and phrases and things that I just don't say at all, just because I just don't. And I think you can guess what several of them are. But the things I do say, why should I not say them just because the camera's on? I in a way, I feel like that's kind of dishonest, and that's kind of painting a picture of myself that's inaccurate. Because it was one thing when I first started the channel, I legitimately just didn't curse at all, like in real life. So it wasn't being dishonest then. But as time progressed, as I got to be like maybe 17 or so, for those of you that don't know, when I started the channel, I had just turned 15. I know a lot of you thought that I was already like in my 20s by that point, and I was kind of flattered by that, so I just went with it. So for the longest time, I would never tell anyone how old I was, and I would just let everyone think I was an adult. But yeah, no, I had just turned 15 when I started the channel, and now I'm 19 and a half years old. But I've been an adult for a year and a half now. So, but yeah, I'm much more likely to use profanity in like a lighthearted or comedic kind of setting than I am in just a casual conversation like this. Like, I'm not holding myself back. I just haven't felt compelled to curse at all in the last 35 minutes. So I'm not just a potty mouth, but I just think in a lighthearted context, it's kind of funny. It can be kind of, it's like a social thing. I think you know what I mean. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are in the same boat, and also artistically too, like in a lot of the music that I write. And I think that's really what jogged my memory to get back to this. Is there is swearing in some of the music that I write, and I'm not gonna not perform those songs or censor those songs just for YouTube or anything. So I just do it as is. And so you may notice that with some of the songs I've been uploading recently of me singing, it's like, yeah, I just dropped an F-bomb. Yeah, like it's part of the song, it is what it is. So, and I know that it may be shocking for some of you that have been following me for a long time and are kind of aware, maybe even subconsciously, of that trend. It is what it is, and I think it's time. I think it's a healthy thing for me mentally to, it's just one less thing to worry about. I don't have to censor myself or whatever, because I'm not, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be saying anything that's going to like get me canceled or anything like that, because honestly, I'm just not that edgy of a person in general. And there was a time when I may have been, and ironically that was before I even would curse or anything. When I was like 13, 14 years old, I would say things like, just for the sake of being edgy and getting a rise out of people and being controversial and whatever. Whether it was like politically charged things or, whatever. But I'm not, I think we all kind of have that phase to some extent, and it's, it passed. And as an adult, I'm just not really, that doesn't really appeal to me. Politics in general just don't really appeal to me. Politics is pretty much at the bottom of my list of things I want to talk about. But if it does come up for whatever reason, I'll be fully transparent. I'm not going to censor myself. I'm not going to go out of my way to avoid any topic, or even just, things that make me uncomfortable, like sex, for example, and any kind of sexual related topics were very stigmatized and taboo in my household growing up, things like that. So naturally, I carried that with me into adolescence and going out in the world and things like that. And that just was a big crutch of mine. So now that's another thing, that I've been learning to get over, especially living out on my own and in the city and all that stuff. So, that will no longer be a taboo on my channel either. Eventually, once I get enough subscribers and enough viewers to make it worth it, I'm going to do like a Q&A video. But this one's going to be a little different because it's going to be unfiltered and uncensored. So you can literally ask me anything and I will answer it honestly, with full transparency, with no censorship. And obviously, there's I already expect, there to be the trolls, the 12-year-olds on the internet that are like, oh, say the N-word or whatever. It's like, no, but, if it's like an actual question or thing, but yeah, so overcoming stigmas, cheers to the channel. What else? that's about it. I'm actually getting bit by mosquitoes out here, so hopefully by the next one of these I do, it'll be another notch cooler so that there's no mosquitoes out here. I could have done it from inside because I had the windows open, but I feel like that's kind of cheating, especially for an episode as important as the season premiere. You know, you got to do it outside. So, but anyway, yeah, so big things to come for sure. I want to get back into making content as well. I want to get back into making like comedy videos and role play videos and just like weird abstract hyperactive things and all that. So yeah, we'll see. I can't force it though. It has to come naturally, but I'm not gonna censor it. You know, I'm not gonna not do something because I think it's too whatever, you know. So anyway, yeah, I'm really the mosquitoes are on to me now, so I gotta head back inside. But yeah, take care, and until next time.